This is the actual skin of the whale. And then you have a good 2 inches of solid fat and then the protein.
In this video, you're gonna witness one of the world's most controversial meats, sourced on a tiny collection of islands in the North Atlantic.
The color of the dried whale, it's amazing. It is like black.
But first, let's back up. Hunting pilot whales here in the Faroe Islands goes back generations. These whales are an abundant source of food, once critical to a place where agriculture is nearly impossible.
I've never tried whale in my life. I know you've had it once or twice before.
Once or twice? Hundreds of times.
But in recent times, animal activists have condemned the practice, staging protests in an effort to save the whales.
If you try to look with the foreigner's eyes, you see that it's very, very rough. Lots of blood, many crazy men shouting and things like that.
The reality now is that people don't have to do it,
No.
but they still continue. Why do you think that is?
Today, in order to understand the locals, I'm gonna eat like a local.
What is the most you've ever gotten one day?
200, 300 kilo. That was pure meat.
I'm on a mission to discover why this practice still goes on, and if their actions today could lead to these animals going extinct forever.
Is this sustainable?
It all starts with breakfast. Before you can understand whaling, you need to understand how important the ocean is to this small collection of islands. Fishing and fishing products account for 95% of this nation's exports. Among those is salted cod, or bacalhau, a daily staple for many islanders.
Here, what they are specializing in is salted cod.
What do you know about cod?
A lot.
Tell me everything.
This is Bierski. For decades, he was a sailor and a fisherman.
I have been fishing a lot of cod, you know, thousands and thousands of tons of cod.
This morning, our breakfast is a 2-course bacalhau meal, starting with a soup. The salted fish is soaked in water for 48 hours to rehydrate and reduce its brininess. Then it's cubed. Cubes of salmon, potatoes, carrots, and bacalhau are piled in a bowl with parsley sprinkled on top. The colorful heap is submerged in a steamy soup made from fish bones, sriracha, cream, salt, carrots, onion, and thyme.
I'm gonna try just some of this broth. Oh, that's delicious. Oh, it's so buttery and creamy. It tastes like a gravy.
Yeah, tastes very nice.
The fish tastes good. Still very salty, but not too salty. I like it.
There's very, very, very little of it, huh?
You would put more cod?
Yes, of course.
Are most people on the island eating cod as kind of a daily food?
I think so, yeah.
And how many protests were on the island for people against cod fishing? I mean, they're alive, they're creatures of the...
None.
Oh,
I have never heard any protests.
okay. I was just checking.
Yeah.
Boom, main course right here. Does this look familiar?
No.
Well, it probably shouldn't. You know, it's elevated food.
Our main course starts with mashed potatoes and salted fish whipped together. Complete the dish with mixed seeds, pickled gooseberry, and something I call Faroese fish sauce.
You know what this is in the middle, right?
Fermented sheep tallow.
So it's fermented too. If I eat it just like...
No, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, no, that's very little. You can eat that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's pure fat, pure oil. It's almost a buttery texture, but it's between being rancid and like fermented like a soy sauce. It has a wonderful flavor to it, but it's just too much to have straight. I think you need to mix it up a little bit. That's awesome. Really packed full of flavor and very rich. And there's like pickled gooseberries that are a little bit sour too. Is that what you grew up on? Fish, potatoes?
Yeah.
When it comes to types of fish, are there any fish that are off limits?
No.
I'm a little disappointed because I heard that there's whale meat in the Faroe Islands. Well, there's no whale meat here at this restaurant. Do you think it's illegal to sell in restaurants?
I don't know about that because I wouldn't go out and eat whale. I do it at home.
A bay dyed scarlet. Lines of massive whale carcasses. When the topic of a Faroese whale hunt, known as a grintadrop, is mentioned, these are the images that appear. Bjarski has also partaken in dozens of whale hunting missions throughout his life.
How old were you the first time you saw or partook in the grint?
Maybe just after I could walk, or maybe my mother took me with her to watch it.
Bjarski offers me a more profound look at the tradition by bringing me to Bur Bay, a grint destination now clear of its occasional red-stained waters.
Could you show me exactly how it works?
A grint always starts with a sailor, spotting a pod of pilot whales wandering into the Faroese fjords.
Then you have to send a message from boat to boat until it reached the land. And then they were running and calling Grindabo all over the villages.
Upon receiving the call, the townspeople drop what they're doing and rush to the beach with their whale harvesting tools. Meanwhile, the chasing has begun offshore. Fishing boats on shore work as a flotilla to herd the pod of whales toward the beach.
When you come close here, you make noise. You can use your screw, the propeller on the boat,
And what's the purpose of that?
scare them, and then they come up onto the shore. So you weigh out into the sea and have a hook and you put it in the nose hole, and then you drag them in this way until somebody reaches and kills them.
Each whale is put down with a cut behind its blowhole in order to sever its spine. Then each body is meticulously measured and lined up on the beach, waiting for the townspeople to claim their share of the catch.
How many times can it happen in a year?
Very, very, very different. It can be none, it can be 10, 20 maybe.
The Faroe Islanders never deliberately set sail in search of pilot whales. A grint only happens when a whale pod comes too close to the islands. This has been the tradition for over 1,200 years. But ever since the 1980s, this millennium-old practice has been challenged by international scrutiny.
Why is no one protesting cod?
They don't see the kill. Here you see it. The sea is red and you can see it for hours after the kill.
I'm filming a show here on the Faroe Islands. If the grint happened now and we showed up to film with our cameras, what do you think would happen?
They will throw you away.
They wouldn't be happy about that.
No, they're worried about these people are bringing wrong information to the world about us. They tell we're chopping the whales up in pieces and doing these things for fun and we don't eat it and things like that.
Today, with 80% of this nation's grocery products imported, it's fair to ask if it's necessary to continue whaling for food.
This is food from this area. You don't have to bring your food with ships and airplanes and then polluting the air. You eat the food that belongs to your area. You understand that?
I totally understand. Eat seasonal, eat locally. Stop pollution. Stop flying or shipping peaches from South America to Thailand to be put into a can and then be shipped back to the USA.
Every documentary about Faroese whaling stops here. But for me, it's not enough. I want to visit a local family, learn their story, and find out why the Faroese people won't replace whale meat in spite of its controversial reputation.
Here are some beefs,
What's beef meat?
steaks.
So just pure meat, no blubber, no fat.
Like your favorite serial killer, Ian's normal appearance suggests nothing about what he has inside his fridge, though in this case, it's a load of whale meat. This is a steak from a long-finned pilot whale, the most common species caught in the Faroe Islands.
Do you have any other ones?
Here is dried.
The color of the dried whale is amazing. It is like black.
As whaling here is not a commercial event, the whale meat is divided among the grint participants. The most Ian has ever received from a single grint was 400 pounds of meat.
So how long can you keep this?
Several years.
What's the oldest one?
I don't have it for that long. It don't get better.
Yeah, it's not like wine, right?
Before we sit down to a whale-heavy meal, Susanna, the lady of the house, gives me a tour of today's uncommon ingredients.
You have so much behind you right now.
Yeah.
Maybe you could like pick up a dish and tell me about it.
This is the fresh meat, no fat in this one.
Not much of a smell. The color is so dark, almost black. That is so interesting. And that's not been dried or cured.